Hello everybody, welcome back to the Minecraft Stages review series. In this episode, we are looking at the 8th stage of Season 1, the 3rd stage of Chapter 2 of Season 1 overall, and that is casting contrails. I'm very excited to take a look at this one, so let's not waste any time. Let's get to it. Going into the 8th stage, we had plenty of experience under our belt. Greats like Mossy Mountain, spectacles like Parkway Pier, and even stars like Sparkling Springs. So, you would assume that with great maps like that in the past, casting contrails could very well be one of those masterpieces, at least to some extent. Well, you would soon find out that that isn't the case. It's actually quite the opposite. The idea behind casting contrails is that you are the player and you are running and dashing amongst these clouds, hopping from Nimbus to Stratus in hopes you can reach the goal. By concept, that could be amazing. It can translate into such an excitable map. But it doesn't. If you look at it on screen, it's not even a realistic aesthetic, and not to mention we are like 20 blocks off the ground. And that ground is very visible, as you can also see. There was just so many good ideas that could have came from this map, but even looking at it alone, you realize that it is lacking in every department. It isn't immersive, it isn't even true to what it's supposed to be. Yeah, you got the right color, but not much else. The great theme of this level is reduced to nothing more than just a blank canvas with splotches of gray on it, really, and it's disappointing to look at, let alone play. This map has no characteristics or identity when we talk about its aesthetics. People will never say, hey, remember that map with like the gray clay blocks and the white snow that made it look like clouds? What was it called? Convoluted clouds or whatever, something like that. Moving away from its aesthetic, we have to talk about the individual mechanisms. Sav and I have always tried to implement at least one into the early stages, and the new one for casting contrails was these water streams. The only thing is they're remembered because they are incredibly frustrating and they piss everybody off. They punish you for going fast. You have to take it slow or you will plummet right to the ground, which will take you even further out of the immersion than before, because why are you falling to the ground in a second and a half? That doesn't make sense if you're in the sky. There's clouds way up there. Why didn't we build a map way up there too? Credit where credit is due. In casting contrails, there's a fair amount of platforming. And the platforming's handled kind of well. I'm not going to lie about that. I appreciate that there's a hint of challenge in it, where you have to sort of think about whether it's better to run to the next block or jump to it. It is entirely your choice, and there's a little bit of optimizing to do here, which is always nice. So, albeit it is super simple, that's probably the one thing that gives casting contrails much of a leg to stand on. There is also another sort of gimmick at the start of the stage where it is a horizontal version of the slime blocks that you'd use to bounce up on back in Altitude Arc. We tried that idea again, but just turned it sideways. That failed miserably, because if you have a ping that's likely greater than 60, good luck, you are going to be stuck there for precious seconds and you won't know what to do about it. I won't know what to do about it. I might giggle, I might laugh, but I'm gonna watch as your time goes up and up and up, you trying to make that mechanism work and it just not functioning for you. Ultimately, if there was one word to encapsulate how everybody feels about casting contrails, frustrating is definitely the way to go. It is a frustrating map. It has two frustrating gimmicks, and it technically even has a third gimmick where there's this pool of water that is preventing you from moving on forward and you have to press a button and freeze it, which is nice and spectacle, but like the water tower of Cyber Colony, beyond spectacle, it doesn't have much else for it. It becomes a thing you have to go out of your way for. I can see that casting contrails obviously tried to innovate with 3 different gimmicks, big or small. It just so happens that 2 of those gimmicks are just annoying and the other one's just forgotten about altogether. The most painful part about casting contrails is the fact that it wasn't the first stage, it was the 8th. We've had 7 chances before to get the formula right, and we could have went into this with a masterpiece coming out, and instead we got this. It is entirely disappointing, and with so many stages predating it, this just makes the casting contrails look worse. The most excruciating part about this map for me in particular is that I was the one who made it. Sav was pretty occupied during the time period that we made this stage, so it was really just me working on it. And so, this is my product to my friends, and I realize that I'll never be able to live this failure down. But I did redeem myself in the future, as you guys will see a few episodes from now. We'll talk about that later, though. I would say that the difficulty of this map is appropriate, and it's great how it is, but why does that matter? Why would it matter? If nobody wants to play this map, why should I care about how great the difficulty is? If it's boring and tedious, why should I come to this map and enjoy its difficulty when I can't find joy in anything else? There's no core balance here, and as a result, it ruins the map and makes the one good thing about one of its core aspects just completely dismissed. And as a whole, this map is both frustrating and disappointing across the board. The best thing that this map did for us at the end of the day is stay short and stay forgettable, because nobody wants around here ever again. For a map that's above the clouds, shrouded in sunlight, this map is nothing more than a forgotten shadow lost in the light of all other stages. Well, thank you all for coming around to watch this review. I am aware of the fact that this was probably a lot more negative than you expected it to be. Nevertheless, I'm just trying to be as honest and objective as I can be, and I feel this map is definitely deserving of the response I gave it. If you have any disagreements, go ahead and challenge me in the comments. I'm sure we could have a fun time with that. But anyhow, once again, thank you for allocating your time towards me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care for now.